Nursing is great for many things. Like it is a stable job. Unlike real estate, I'm not guaranteed a paycheck next week or the following month. So it's all depending on your grind. But that's what I love.
Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we have a really good one because I interviewed my friend and former coworker, Michael Wilches, who is now an award-winning real estate agent with eXp Realty. And we go over how he tripled his salary as a nurse by doing real estate, how he leveraged his nurse job to get him where he is today, get him more clients, and how he's building his wealth for the future. And before we get into the interview, please drop a like on this video and subscribe for more videos just like this, because this is the type of content that I'm going to be pushing out from now on. Enjoy. All right, so we have award-winning real estate agent Michael Wilches here with us. And the reason why I wanted to interview you was not just because of how successful I've seen you grow over the last 2 years now, but it's also because we're coming from a similar place of that you were a nurse first. And if you don't mind, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Brian. So thank you for having me. My name is Michael Wilches. I'm based out of New Jersey. Brian and I used to work in a hospital in New York. And back in 2017, I used to work in the EP lab. And around that time, I had no idea about real estate. It was just reading books after books. Luckily, it was a very chill job, so I had a lot of downtime. And during that time, I used it all to just read books, read about real estate. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. I came across some realtors at the time that they were mentioning how much they were making, and I was like, let me give this a shot. So it started off first where I just wanted to buy an investment property. I got my real estate license to save money on the commission.
That's smart.
Yeah, no, I mean, it took off after that.
So just to go way back, what made you go into nursing first, and why did you end up wanting to make that switch towards real estate?
Well, I've been a nurse for 10 years. This year was actually my first year that I quit my full-time job. So I started nursing back in 2012. The main reason I got into nursing was because I wanted to help people. It was a noble job, clock out, and you don't have to worry about your job anymore. I didn't want to have a job where I have to worry about bringing it back home. I did it for 10 years. It was a great job. I love the hours. The hours were very flexible. But one thing I noticed is I was getting very involved with committees. I was part of the magnet committee, unit council, all this stuff that I wanted to just be the top of the nurses. I was charge nurse, this and that. I work in the cardiothoracic ICU, all these things. And what I started to realize is I'm not making that much more money than the worst nurse. And it's not about the money, but it's like the amount of time I was putting in, it just wasn't compensated. I was putting in so much into helping, the hospital, helping this and that. And there was really no compensation. And if you look at the leaderships, they get their bonuses, and I don't get any bonuses for being part of the magnet committee or anything like that. So just throughout the years, and then after COVID, I worked in the COVID ICU. It was crazy. And that was the complete burnout. That was a cherry on top where I was like, I got to find something else. And luckily at the time I had my real estate license, and everyone at that time wanted to leave New York City. So they contacted me. I had a lot of medical professionals such as nurses, doctors. Everyone was calling me. I was very active on social media, and people were calling me just to buy a house. At the time I was working in the COVID ICU, and on my free time to alleviate my stress and everything, I was just helping people buy homes.
And how did you have free time? Because I remember when I was working with you, you had a full-time job in one hospital. You were doing per diem at the hospital that I was working at. So where did you find that free time to get your real estate license and to just really start focusing on that?
Yeah, so back in 2018, I was looking for an investment property. I was working with some realtors before I had my license, and I just felt like they weren't doing the best job. They weren't really representing me how I wanted to. So I was like, let me get my license. I was listening to Bigger Pockets. They talked about the benefits of having your license. And first, to get my license, I took 2 weeks vacation from work. Instead of going on vacation, enjoying myself, I used that time to get my real estate license. And usually it takes 1 month to 2 months to get your real estate license. I did it in 2 weeks because I was just on a time crunch, because if not, I had to go back to work. So luckily I passed the course. I did the state exam.
You did the pre-licensing course, the whole courses and all that, and then you took the test kind of thing, all in 2 weeks?
The class exam was done in 2 weeks, and then I studied for 2 weeks to take the state exam.
Dang.
And then within less than a month, I had my real estate license. Eventually, I left the ICU because I needed the weekends off to go to open houses, do showings on the weekends. So then I found a job in the PACU, which is the recovery room. and I had my weekends off, I had Fridays off, and those days I was just using it to do showings. So I was working 40 hours at the hospital, and then probably 40 to 60 hours doing real estate. And in the beginning, I was making no money. The first 4 to 6 months, you don't make money as a real estate agent, and that's why like 87% fail, because you don't see money right away. It's a late reward. You don't get compensated right away. But I was still making money as a nurse on the side. So then eventually, I got my first deal. And then I found my own multifamily, and then things just started escalating after that. Honestly, this year was the year I quit my full-time job. Since 2019, the past almost 4 years, I've been working 100 hours a week.
Oh, dang. That's a lot of hours, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How did you get over for me, I guess, just because we started nursing around the same time, 2012. And then how do you just like pivot to just be like, okay, I'm done with nursing. I'm leaving this super stable job that in New York, we actually do get paid 6 figures, but obviously not. 6 figures is a lot of money, but it's not like the best money. What made you decide to leave that?
That was a thing I was struggling for years. I wanted to quit sooner, but the thing I kept holding on to my job was it was a stable W-2 job. I knew that the banks would lend me money. Aside from being a realtor, my job was primarily to be a successful real estate investor. So I bought my first house hack back in 2020. I bought a 3-family there. I lived in 1 unit. I rented out two of the units. I thought after that house, I was going to quit my job, but I wasn't fully happy with that house. I lived in a basement, no parking, no driveway, no garage. So it was sacrifice. But I achieved one of my goals, which was living for free, because I had 2 tenants that were paying my mortgage and I was living for free. But I was like, I need to find one more house, something that's much nicer. And then luckily this year came across a seller. She was going to sell it to her neighbor. I offered her 25 grand more than the neighbor was offering. And she's like, all right, I'll sell it to you. So this is the house I currently live in. It's a much nicer 3-family. I have a driveway, have a garage, have windows, because I used to live in a basement, so there was no lighting. After I bought this house is when I was like, you know what, I think I can quit my job. I make enough money as a real estate agent. This year I almost tripled my nursing salary. So
geez.
Yeah.
Do you mind saying how much you were making as a nurse, just so we could put something into perspective? You don't have to do your like top number for your real estate, but
as a nurse, I was making without overtime like 110, 120, with overtime and 140 on my best nursing year. And then, with real estate, I almost tripled it this year.
That is insane. So originally, it sounds like you were outside of getting burnt out from nursing, but you wanted to find ways to make more money, right? Was real estate always, you think, the way out, or did you think of doing like travel nursing too? Because I know a lot of my friends are making a killing out of that. Or I know you're in the ICU and like most people go to like CRNA school. Was that even in the cards for you? Or it was just like real estate is the ticket? Is that where we go from here?
I think after COVID and getting burnt out and I wanted to change in my life. So I eventually was like, you know what? I want to switch careers. I feel like I did my time. I know a lot of people are like, but you did 4 years of college, like spend more time with nursing, go back to school for like CRNA or NP. But for me, it just, I don't know. I don't feel fulfilled doing that. And I'd rather be my own boss. So that's why I was like, let me switch careers. And listening to Bigger Pockets, seeing all the success stories. I have a lot of mentors who are successful as realtors, successful as real estate investors. And I was like, that's the life I can align myself with, rather than, working in the hospital. And unfortunately, there's still nurses that are, they're about to retire and they're so worried about money. And that's not what I want. It's not what I want for my family. It's not what I want for my future kids. I don't want to worry about money. I would rather make a lot of money and give back to the things that I care about, causes that I care about, versus being in my 60s. And then I'm like, shit, I don't have money to,
Yeah. You're just waiting to retire, and then hopefully you have enough for the pension or your 401k or whatever it is. But going into the real estate now, like, we'll just get away from the nursing. So you have 6 units now, right? And are you still living for free?
Yeah, I'm living for free. It's like right at the edge. Like this new house I bought, I wasn't with the 2 rentals I have. They don't cover the mortgage, but luckily with my first house I bought, I was living for free. And then where I used to live, I put a tenant there. They're paying me an extra $1,500. So I'm cash flowing 1,700 because I was cash flowing a little bit while I was living there. And with the rents I'm collecting on the second house, I'm basically living for free. So once I refinance, I did use FHA, so I have
Okay.
a hefty PMI. And I guess right now, once I refinance and have 20% equity and get rid of the PMI, my mortgage is going to be a lot less. So for now, I'm just taking the bullet. And then once I get these tenants out here, whenever they were ready to move, I can increase the rent almost by $500 per unit. So
Oh, wow. It went up that much. Is like you could.
they're just getting a steal right now, but they're really good people. Eventually, once they're ready to move, I will bring new tenants in and get market rents.
And for the tenants that you have in your house, do you also tell them that you're a real estate agent, that you're like willing to help them find a house? Do they know that?
Right now I have one tenant that knows, and I'm actually helping her try to find a house.
That's
So
cool.
that's in the works right now. You actually just reminded me to send her some listings, but yeah, no, I guess it's the best of both worlds. You're getting paid rent and then
It's like
commission.
a nice little double dip.
Yeah.
So
So
did you also did you fix up the first property or this property at all to like add value to it, or it was kind of like turnkey and plug and play?
So the first house I bought, I inherited two tenants, and then one unit was vacant. The vacant unit I lived in, I renovated it myself with my sister, painted the walls, changed the cabinets, did some recessed lights to it, little cosmetic stuff to make it look good. And the second house, same thing. I inherited two tenants, and then the unit that I'm currently lived in, I gutted the whole kitchen. We shined the hardwood floors, and yeah. So only the units I've lived in were the ones that are renovated, because everything else has been inherited tenants. So I haven't been able to fix up those units.
How did you find these again? You said you found them yourself, or you were working with somebody?
In 2018, I was working with someone. I got my license in 2019, and I didn't buy my first house hack till 2020. I bought in this town called Garfield, New Jersey. It's a great town. There's a lot of trains that go from Garfield to the city, Penn Station. When I saw this 3-family, it was actually on the market for 110 days. And I'm like, oh, this is probably no good home.
Whenever I see something big like that, I'm like, I don't know, but let's see.
I went to take a look at it. I spoke to the lady who was the owner, and I was like, I've noticed that this house has been on the market. What's been
Did
going
you
on?
door knock, or
No, it was on the
or you
market.
yeah, you just called the number?
Yeah.
You didn't call the agent, you just called the owner itself?
No. So it was on the market. So it was listed by a realtor. I called the realtor. She's like, just go see the home. And one of the owners was living in the unit. Basically told her, hey, by the way, I'm a realtor. I'm actually looking at this house for myself, but I'm also a nurse. And she told me, like, oh, the reason it's been on the market for so long is because the previous two buyers that were going to buy it had lost their jobs. So it was under contract. Someone was supposed to close on it. And because of COVID, they lost their jobs. And then I told her, like, hey, look, the offer I'm going to make you is not great, but I can reassure you that I can close during this time, because my job, I'm being asked to work overtime like every day. At first, she didn't like my offer because it was listed at $600K. They reduced it to $560, and I got it for $535.
What?
Yeah, so
That's a steal, dude.
yeah. So I renovated a little bit, and a recent appraisal I had was 670. So
How long did it take her to agree to sell to you at that price?
took her like a week. So this,
It's not that long.
yeah, and what happened was that the current owner had inherited the property from her dad, and there's 3 sisters who owned the property. So it took me almost 4 months to close on that property, or 4 or 5.
Because you have to make sure the title's clean and nothing from, I guess, like probate or whatever from, I guess, the family member.
All that. And sisters were always in disagreement. They didn't want to give me credit. They hated the price I bought it at, all that stuff. So eventually the deal happened. It was able to close. It wasn't pretty, but we got it to work. And then eventually I moved in.
That's amazing. A lot of resilience there to even like get that done. And then you're already talking about that you got a lot of clients through the hospital. How did you broadcast yourself as a realtor? Especially that you were saying you're so new, but how did you get the confidence to be the guy to go to and start like just doing it?
I think I got really, luck is when you're working hard towards something, but you're also at the right time. And so during that time in 2020, like with my group of friends, people from college, people from high school, there wasn't like that go-to realtor in my sphere of influence, we call it. And I guess I was like, let me post on Instagram. I never closed on a house, and let me just keep posting, post. And through my posts is when everyone saw that I was closing houses. Luckily, my first client trusted me, even though I never closed on the house. But he's like,
And was that like a friend, the first person, or?
yeah, it was a buddy of mine, a fellow nurse. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a two-family." So we were looking every weekend. Eventually, we saw a really nice two-family in Hawthorne. We made an offer, closed on it, and then when I got my first commission, I was like, "Holy cow, this is like 6 to 8 weeks of nursing." So
Oh, dang.
like, so I was like, shoot, I'm going to do this instead of, try to focus instead of nursing. So after I closed on that property, I kept posting on Instagram, like close this property under contract, and then I was really big on posting on my stories. So I would post
Mhm.
like when I'm
Yeah, that's why I started reaching out to you again. I was like, dang, Mike is doing freaking good.
yeah, through Instagram. And then I linked my Instagram to my Facebook, and that's how I got my first listing ever. So
Smart. That is smart. Just taking over social media with that.
yeah,
So
my project for 2023 is to jump on YouTube now. So
you definitely should. You definitely should. I feel like this is like an amazing platform, especially for real estate. For you, I do think it'd be huge for you, especially with the multiple different backgrounds that you have. It would definitely help. So after you said it took you like 6 months to get your first commission check, and then you said like it just started rolling from there. Like after that first check, how long did it take you to close the next one?
Good question. Because people now think like I'm just closing deals, but they don't realize how hard it was in the beginning. So in the beginning, it was 6, 7 months for that first deal.
Mhm.
My next one didn't come for another 3 months, and then my next one didn't come for another 2 months. But then right before my year ended, I had 5 closings in 1 month, and that was
Oh,
the month I
wow.
made I made a lot of money that month, and I was like, damn, I should just stick to this. So the guys on YouTube are right.
The guys on YouTube. I keep seeing it, and then you kept telling me, "Oh, maybe get that real estate license." So I actually signed up for like the classes. I just need to find the free time to sit down and actually study it because I just see how well you're doing. And then, so I guess we're around the same age, but like all my friends already bought houses already. So if I was to get to where you're at, what advice would you give like a new person getting into being an agent and trying to like just start their career on that end?
I mean, as a new agent and for you, like I would just say keep leveraging social media. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, because even though a lot of your friends probably bought a house, you don't know who they know, and their
It's
friends probably
true.
have not bought a house. So as if they see you closing, at least once you close that first deal, then it becomes a domino effect. So just keep trying, post the books that you're reading, post the meetups that you go to, post like what you're doing as a real estate agent, even if you haven't closed the deal. And once
Mhm.
you close that first deal, it's called the rule of the first deal. After that, it becomes a domino effect, and then you get the next deal, and then you get 2 or 3 more deals. So just keep posting on Instagram, attend meetups. That's what me and my sister do. We go to real estate
Mhm.
meetups, we meet people there, and that's how we get listings. That's how we meet new customers. So
What's your plan for yourself in like the next like 5 years, 10 years? Because obviously nursing is not in the picture. You're making way more in what you're doing now. So like what do you see for yourself?
So for myself, the brokerage I'm with is EXP Realty. So one of my goals is to recruit 1,000 agents, which might sound crazy, but being with EXP for almost 4 years, I'm up to 50 agents right now. And the beauty of this brokerage is that as a real estate agent, we can perform as a broker almost. So by
Mhm.
recruiting people, helping them grow their business, we get a referral from every commission they close, and it doesn't even come out of their commission. So we help others grow. And then the beauty of the company is that we get incentivized to help other people by getting to like either 100 agents or 1,000 agents. The more agents you have that are productive, the more passive income you make on the side every single month that gets paid directly to your bank account. So my goal is to get to 1,000 agents by December 31st of 2023. And then next year, I want to like triple
A
my.
thousand by next year. Oh shit, dude, that's a big ass goal.
It is big, but if I jump onto YouTube and I'm consistent with it, I can leverage getting a lot of realtors
You
that
definitely can.
way. I will host my own real estate meetups. I'm actually doing my next one December 27 of this year, 2022. So with meetups, I get a lot of realtors that way just through my Instagram. People always are reaching out. And once they see the benefits of EXP Realty, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's like if you do the math, you're almost at 100% commission. You get passive income, you get health insurance, you get equity into the company. So it's just a beautiful company to be
So
part
it's
of.
like everything that you left from nursing, it
Yeah.
sounds like you're getting that from EXP
Oh, absolutely.
because like you're still getting a lot of stability there because I didn't know it came with all that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Once the stock shoots up a little bit, I probably will have almost triple of what I made as a nurse in my retirement account. So when people are like, "Oh, what about the benefits?" Like, no, I have benefits at EXP. So
That's amazing. So, broad question, are you a millionaire yet?
uh it depends on your definition of a millionaire, but I have the equity, I have a lot of
Mhm,
savings, I don't have money like just thrown out like that, but
mhm.
I'm at the point where I'm almost there. So
That's amazing, and you've only been a realtor for 4 years now?
4 years since 2019.
Wow, dude. That is such an amazing story. It's crazy how it's like come to this because following you from afar, seeing everything, I feel like you actually pushed me to buy like my real estate properties where I am at now just because I saw another nurse doing it because like where we work, everyone is just all about like their stocks, kind of crypto. Everyone's kind of afraid of real estate because it's a house. People are afraid of
Yeah,
investing like that.
taking out a mortgage,
Yeah.
the unknowns, the tenants clogging up the toilets.
Yeah, and then just seeing you do it definitely made me start doing it. Now it seems like you're also, like, influencing me to do, like, the real estate agent thing. Like, it's a pretty cool thing that you're doing, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm happy I was able to help you, inspire you to, get your property. Now you're getting a real estate license and you don't know where you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't wanna do nursing anymore. I do know that, but, like, the only reason why I'm in it, like, I always tell my wife, is, like, the bankability of it, just being able to get loans easily because banks are like, "Oh, you've been a nurse for this long?
yeah.
Great, you could afford to get another loan."
Nursing is great for many things. Like it is a stable job. Unlike real estate, I'm not guaranteed a paycheck next week or the following month. So it's all depending on your grind. But that's what I love. It's a hustle. It's based on how hard you work. So if I want to make $1 million a year, I can do that. It's just I have to put in the work.
Yeah, you just
I
have to
have
put
to
in the
make the
work.
cold calls. I have to. It's been done before. So just read the books by the real estate agents who are doing it and just follow their systems. Everything is about systems. Everything's about your habits. I mean, I just finished reading this book, Atomic Habits, and like I already had systems in place. I had like the good habits of waking up early, putting in the time and effort. So it's all about the habits. Man.
That's some great advice. And then again, thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully we could do this again sometime. I'm really going to try to do this a lot more.
Awesome. Yeah. And then let's connect when you get your real estate license. And
Definitely.
I want to help you grow your business too.
I appreciate that, man.